right, Hopeful Tribe, I want to introduce you to Andrea Canaan, who is a friend of mine. I can't believe it because she is so cool. Like, she is too cool to be one of my friends. Let me tell you, she is an amazing Black feminist author and social worker and activist, and I'm so proud to have her here on the channel. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you. And I am not too cool to be your friend. As a matter of fact, I, am not doing the work that you're doing. And look at look at what you're about. I'm here, so proud to be being interviewed by you.
Oh, you know, by the way, you look great.
Thank you.
I meant to tell you. Um, I just think what's changed in me most since the last time I've seen you was how seriously I take care of myself.
Mhm.
And over there is one of my focus wheels. Have you ever done a focus wheel?
No, I haven't. I see this one over here too.
Yeah. So that one's about finances, and that one's about self care.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's the altar I go to every day.
Mm-hmm.
And what it says in the middle is, I take exquisite care of myself.
Absolutely.
And you know who I got that from?
Where'd you get that from?
My friend Andrea. See, you were a little ahead of me when we first met.
Exquisite care. That's
With,
the name of the
with,
game.
with the self-care game. And I was still fighting it hard. Because, I was just trained really hard in the practice of hard work and suffering,
Absolutely.
that was my religion. Like that
Well,
was my
hard work, suffering, and take care of everybody else but yourself.
right. And really, really seriously brainwashed. And so even though I got it, like that it was a need for me to take care of myself, it took years for me to take that seriously.
I think it
And
does. I think it. I think time and tide. I mean, just this morning, um, Monday, I started doing this thing. I don't know. I'm sure you know about these things, but it's called timed eating. There's another thing they call it intermittent fasting.
oh yeah, I do that. Mhm.
And so I'm choosing not to do intermittent fasting to even say fasting to myself
Yeah, because it
because
can trigger
myself is it will trigger.
it. Yeah.
But I committed to timed eating
Yeah.
starting on Monday, and my thing is, since I feel like I have two or three more books in me, and I want to be productive. I want to be present. I want to be mobile. I want to be healthy, and I want to be able to be in joy, in exquisite joy of who I am and what I do. And so so it never stops. The need to take care of yourself, to learn how to take care of yourself, no matter what age you are, it's constant. And I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew that. Whatever age I am constantly learning. I am constantly making the decision to live well. I am, all of those things. I'm constantly making the decision to love well. I'm constantly making the decision to make, for instance, creative community,
Hmm.
both with individuals and in creative communities, and that's kind of where I am right
I love that. I love that. But I think I actually gave you credit on Hopeful Tribe before for that exquisite self care. Say, I think it was on the. I did a video called "Self Care for Busy Moms." I'm so grateful to you and to all of my friends who have encouraged me along the way, you know? Because I really believe we're always moving towards wholeness and health. It's just we can get confused along the way, you know?
now. Or sidetracked. The one thing though that I remember and keep in hold about our relationship when we were working together is that there were places that I didn't do well, I didn't know about. There were skill sets that I didn't have that you had, that you absolutely shared. You absolutely shared, you absolutely taught, you absolutely supported the acquisition thereof. And I did the same thing with you. That so that is the it's what we do for and with each other. This is this is really, really the way we do. And of course, we do it even when something is ridiculous or angering or all of the rest. We wound up laughing a lot, and we wound up being in joy. And this is one of the things, besides exquisite care, I do believe that the elixir or the thing that allows us to rejuvenate and and recover and become resilient is joy. It's exquisite care, and it's being in joy. It's celebrating what we have, celebrating what we, even yesterday we were driving home. It was such a magnificent sunset that literally while I was driving, I was praying. And I was praying to breathe in this beauty, to breathe in this wonder, to be in joy with something that's a total gift that I couldn't give myself. That nobody else could give us, that the atmosphere literally was giving us. And that those things, exquisite care of self, exquisite care with others, and being and remembering all of the other stuff, but about being in joy. Remember to be in joy, to remember to celebrate. I mean, because a lot of times we don't even we wind up being in the hardness, in the anger, in the terror, in the what have you, and forgetting about the spaces, even the tiny spaces for joy. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I love that. Joy has always come really naturally to me, and I imagine to you too, right? You're just born in joy and made people smile and laugh all the time, right? Even when things were bad.
Even when they're bad.
And I think that was a big part of how I helped people along the way.
Absolutely.
As a therapist or a social worker, whatever you want to
Absolutely.
call it, was that there was this joy that they could connect with that wasn't scary, like a lot of therapy situations can be,
Mm-hmm.
and especially I think for people of color on the streets. I mean, it's just not a very joyful place, So I feel like joy was has always been a big part of my life, but for me, until this last year, 2021, I always felt a little guilty about it.
Really?
Yeah, felt like my being so joyful prevented me from being perceived as like a serious person with a serious mission. You know?
Interesting. I think differently. I think that you may be right on some level, but I'm talking about on the level of which you actually serve people, the people that you serve.
Yeah.
That laugh, that brightness, that welcoming disarms, helps to unlock and disarm people who have been. I've seen it work. Like no matter how much charm, how much skill, how much care, what have you, it's something, and you would be able to go to the same person that was still kind of locked down, still kind of all scrunched up, still kind of scared, and I don't know who you are, leave me alone, go away. And you could walk up to that person and those shoulders would go down. Those eyes would come up. The space would be made to find out who they are, what they wanted, who they were, what they needed. And the space was open to both give in the communities that they worked in, went to school in, lived in, as well as to learn from them. Because the coaching, the therapy, those things are about teaching as well. And then that's when you maximally could do the thing that you did. And nobody, I mean, they might have looked at you might and said, "Oh, she's not serious," but they didn't put down when you delivered.
Right.
You like, how did you do that? What? Nobody's been able to do that, but who? You.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't, and I think joy annoys some people. And I think
It does.
and I think that's what you got a lot. I think it annoys people, but it produces, or you produce.
And I feel like last year what shifted for me was I just stopped caring if
That's what's required.
people like me or not. I was like, oh, this is just who I am. And when I really lean into it, when I'm just really me, I'm really happy. And like all this amazing stuff flows in. So why am I stopping my flow for what?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And the other thing is that people are annoyed sometimes about joy, but people are kind of like astounded by joy. Like, how is that possible? How could you live in America today and be joyful? Like, now, how could you live in America all the time? You lived in America and be joyful, and you can. We can. You are showing us. You are giving us the example, and you're being authentic. Because people can fake everything. But I do know, especially people who have been harmed. Many of them, and I think that's what I saw happen. I witnessed in your work was people witnessing authenticity. She said, "Oh, this woman is really different. Oh, this woman's got that laugh. Oh, this woman is always joyful." But there's something about this woman that I also trust.
Yeah.
And that's because of the level of authenticity. Self and other, and of course, the closer you get to doing that with yourself all the way, all of the layers in, the better you get it. That's how it is. That's how you be. That's how you roll.
Right. Well, and one of my questions I prepared was actually about joy. Uh, I wanted to ask you go a little deeper because during the 40th anniversary of this bridge called My Bag um, celebration.
The thing about oppression,
Mm-hmm.
the thing about erasure, the thing about racism and misogyny and stealing of the land and all of the rest is those who oppress us, those who kill us,
Mm-hmm.
those who enslave us and steal our labor. They want us to be quiet. They want us to be in fear and terror.
Mm-hmm.
They want us to lose hope. They want us to lose the ability to be ourselves, because to be our true human selves means we rejuvenate, we resist, and we take back everything that's ours. And literally, simply standing in our whole selves is revolutionary.
Yes.
The thing about the cycle of things is that you have all of these feelings. You have anger, you have, hey puppy, oh, I'm being kissed,
Go
I'm being
sit.
kissed.
Go sit.
We go through all of the feelings naturally: sadness, anger, um, um, excitement, and joy. Joy being like a 10, right? That we go through all of those things, but joy is the thing. The looking forward to joy, to the being in joy. Joy is the thing that rejuvenates the spirit. Joy. I mean, they talk about resilient people. Usually, they're talking about the super downtrodden people, and they can't do nothing for themselves. And look, they're still existing.
Mm-hmm.
Resilient people are people who use all of their experience, find the joy in their journey, in each other, in nature, every single little tiny thing in it. Find the joy in it. Let that joy rejuvenate them, right? Reestablish them, reconnect them, heal them. Joy in that way. That is the practice of being in joy is revolutionary because it's anti-oppression. It is anti um, um, the jailer, anti racist, anti-sexist, anti-misogynist, anti-womanist, pro-child,
Mm-hmm.
pro-youth,
Mm.
pro life in the way that we talk about life. Like once the life is here, we're going to value it. We're going to take care of it. We're going to invest in it. We're going to lift it up. We're going to protect it. We're going to be in joy in all of those joyful tasks. This is what we're going to do. And what we're going to do is to lessen the erosion of our humanity by hate.
Mm.
Anger is useful, is purposeful. It's to get back what people stole from you. Rage and rage and hate are dehumanizing. They are not. I mean, we feel them. We feel them, but they're not useful in that way. Sadness is a good feeling. It's a good thing. It's the way that you let go something that's already gone. But depression, immobility, those things are not useful. We feel them,
Mm-hmm.
but part of the thing is to come up out of them and we do all kinds of things with them. We go to church, we sing, we clap, we write, we walk on the lake, we sit with our life coaches and we go through the processes. We create and recreate. And that's how we deal with some of those things that are dehumanizing, because in the end, what the oppressor really wants us to do is to kill each other and ourselves.
Yes.
So joy is about having a natural, easily had mechanism to revitalize, to rejuvenate, to recreate, to lift ourselves up and each other up. I believe it's revolutionary.
Yes. I'm right there with you.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And it's okay, if people don't want to experience it, don't want to go there with me. It's really okay. But I don't need to stop myself because of how they're feeling. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, I also think though sometimes like your mama died, your brother died,
Mm-hmm.
your uncle is in jail. There's a way that we have been taught to be stoic. We
Mm.
have been taught that to store and take pain. I know that I was that suffering is a way of life. This is how it is in this sojourn that we're on, and we feel guilty. We feel guilty and bad, you know, for all of the relative privileges we have,
Mm-hmm.
all of the relative safety we have.
Mm-hmm.
We feel guilty and bad about dipping into joy, about doing that hot dance in church, about, really dancing and reveling in music and art and writing and just the world about us. And so that's also really, really true. I feel a lot of compassion. And I think that's a lot of what we teach each other is that it is okay to be safer. It is okay to be better resourced. It is okay to not be jailed, to not be, it is okay to be where we are and who we are and wherever we are, to experience the joys that are there to be had, even if if the image that just came was, I'm looking forward to summer so I can have my first fig. Really joy.
Mm.
Like that. joy.
Mm-hmm.
Just the joy of eating, of nourishing oneself and sharing a meal.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and that guilt you talk about, I often think of it as like survivor's guilt. You know, um, it's deep. It's really deep, and all the more reason I think to be joyful, right? Because there's so many people who could never or will never feel free to feel that joy, you know. And since I can,
Absolutely.
you know, I might as well have enough for both of us.
And since you know it's systemic, it's not something that naturally occurs
Right.
in the world.
No.
This oppression that we experience does not in every institution, in school, in the courts, in the in housing, in healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
in on the streets, driving your car, all of the things in our current culture from 1400 to now are all overcoded to overtax us, overpower us, over police us, overkill us, all of it. So it's not. I mean, we wind up feeling so bad and thinking it's all our fault. It is systemic. And once I understood that it was systemic, it's big. It's a big thing to think like everything is stacked against you. But when you know that you didn't build that, you they don't mean it for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then we go out and find out what is for us.
Right.
What do we want?
Right.
What world do we want? What justice system do we want? How do we want our children to be loved and treated? How do we want to treat women? How women want to treat themselves and men? How men want to treat women and men? It's not our system. It's not for us. It's against us, not for us. And I'm not just talking black and white. I'm talking poor people. I'm talking women. I'm talking um, I'm talking indigenous. I am talking people of color, but I'm not just talking of people of color. If you don't make $2 trillion a year, then it's not freaking for you.
Yeah.
It's not set up for you.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out what else we can
Yeah.
do to take care of ourselves.
Exactly.